We are going to get started. Welcome to Unfinished Friday. And today, again, another great person that we get to learn from, get some nuggets from today. Gold nuggets, that is. So I want to, again, Unfinished Friday. I think most of you have already been on at one point. We are all unfinished. We are all learning. We're all growing. And I I put this together so I could learn from awesome people. And so our next awesome person that we have on here that we get to learn from is Mike Bunich. And I've known Mike for a few years here. We met through Centersphere in Omaha, and it was just we were we were friends right away. And brothers. So I always say to folks like Mike Bunich that we're brothers from another mother. And I posted that on Facebook one time about somebody, and my mom replied. She goes, "What does that mean?" So anyway, that was a long story, but I'm gonna give it up to Mike here. Thanks all for joining us.
Well, Aaron, I hope that did not cause a divorce or any bad situations. But anyway, good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to see your beautiful faces. I know some of you. For those of you that I don't know, I'm excited to have the opportunity in the future to get to know you. I appreciate the opportunity, Aaron, and I love the fact that Aaron said that this is unfinished business, that we're all a work in progress. And I'm going to talk today about something that's kind of been resonating over the last few months, kind of in my heart. For some of you that know me, I'm kind of a clown sometimes. I'm kind of business. I talk business, this and that. So this will be a little different flavor than what maybe some of you are used to. Believe it or not, I kind of am a deep thinker, and I like to resonate on stuff, even though I don't come across that way occasionally. But I don't know if you've all heard, but there's like this thing going around, and it's really affected business. It's affected relationships. I think they call it COVID or something along those lines. And not trying to make fun of current situation. That's not my heart, but I'm sure we've all been impacted in different ways. And my position where I work is I'm business relations director for a company, Cross Electronic Recycling. So I deal with electronic recycling, e-waste, and secure data destruction. But a lot of our events were canceled, couldn't go into businesses. I'm just telling you about my experience only because I know we can all relate. Yeah, I think it has affected our ability to operate, our ability if we're in sales or marketing, to be able to be effective in sales and marketing. I know it's affected real estate as far as showing homes, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I've only got 10 minutes, right, Aaron? Aaron, do me a favor and wave like this to me or something when it's about 8 minutes so I can kind of go. So I've got just some thoughts, but my topic today is the farmer's job. So the rhetorical question is, what is the farmer's job? So when I think about it, you know, you have to prepare the soil, you need to plant a seed, and you need to water and weed and take care of that crop. But really, what is the farmer's job? From a sales point of view, I look at outcomes sometimes. I don't know if you're in a quota type of a system or where you have minimums. If you're a business owner, I know what it's like to have overhead. I had 11,000 square feet in the outlet mall before, you know, they rebuilt it. I've paid for space before. I know what it's like to have deadlines. But what's the farmer's job? The farmer's job is to take care of the seed. And that sounds really simple. But I think that this message actually is a message of hope, and actually a message that can bring some peace, because I've been very confused in the past, or mixed up, or maybe I haven't seen things very clearly, because a lot of times I've looked at the outcome. I've even based my performance on how things ended up or what the results were. I've had a tremendous auction that was advertised correctly and attended well, but the results weren't what I thought they should have been. And I was disappointed. I remember one day years ago making $12,500 in a 5-hour period from an auction and being upset that I didn't make 20 because I thought there should have been more. And now in the position that I'm in, all of our spring cleanup events were canceled. Things were changed. And I don't know about y'all, and I don't need to have a show of hands, but I'll admit that there's been a little anxiety. I'll even use the word fear. Even though I'm a big tough guy, prior military and public service and this, that, there was a bit of fear. There was a little bit of worry. But I'm just going to say it's foolishness. If you have a Christian worldview, and I'm not trying to proselytize or push a Sunday morning message, because that's not what it's about at this time, but it's where am I really putting my trust and what are my responsibilities? If I'm the farmer and I'm supposed to plant the seed, then I should be mindful to plant the seed and not be so worried about the outcome. If a farmer walks out his door and he sees that the fields are barren, then he or she is going to go ahead and get out there and plant seed. He's going to tend to what needs to be taken care of, because the result really I have zero control over. I don't know if you've ever done everything right and then not had the result that was expected. If you have it at least once in your life, it can be a shocker. So I just had a couple thoughts about planting seed farming, cultivating the ground, being prepared, having the right state of mind, realizing what I can do and can't do, being honest, fertilizing, weeding, that's informing. That'd be fertilizing, not selling, but telling. All I've got to do is plant that seed. Weeding would be problem solving, figuring out ways to serve that customer. Maybe their credit score isn't the greatest. Maybe they need a separate financing, whatever the case would be in your market. Watering. Watering, I think, would be soft touches, actually caring, listening. And that's one thing that I really did learn during this time period, because things changed. I wanted to stay in touch with the people I have relationship with, but I also didn't want to be trying to promote or sell, because I didn't feel that would be very sensitive, and that's just my own personal feelings. But everyone was going through some stuff, and when I was communicating with people, it was amazing how many people shared with me what they were going through, and it kind of opened up my ears and took some wax out, and I'm thankful for that. So what's the goal? Well, obviously the goal is the harvest, right? But that's not the job. The job is simply to plant the seed. And then I had a whole bunch of random thoughts, and since this is Unfinished Fridays, this message really isn't unfinished, because there seems to always be more as I think about it. So I've got to ask myself, what seed am I planting? Is it a selfish seed or is it a service seed? Am I planning to plant or am I giving to get? A lot of times we can look really good or sincere in the things that we do, but what are my motives? If my motives really aren't problem solving, or I don't have the right heart, then maybe I should be working in a different field. So I've got to ask myself about the quality of the seed that I'm planting. Am I planting hope? Am I being truthful? Am I being loving? And since I said this is from a Christian worldview, the best seed I feel like planting is the incorruptible seed of the word, truth. Where am I planting? Again, good ground. And you know what? Sometimes ground may not look that good. If you're out prospecting, those green fields and everything all looking lush and ready to go, that may not be where you're supposed to be planting. You might need to spend some time moving some rocks and breaking your back and chopping a few limbs or doing whatever. But I tell you what, it'll always pay off. And you know what? I found that some of the most fertile soil is often buried under those rocks, under those twigs, under that brush. But it's being able to have the mindset of a farmer that I want to plant that seed. So I believe that you can have peace in the planting. I believe you can have joy in the midst of COVID-19. Yeah, Mike Bunich just said that. I believe that life can be amazing and wonderful when I have my focus on my purpose. And my purpose is not the goal. My purpose is to be the planter and to plant the seed. So the outcome, the harvest, is not my job. It's not my responsibility. So in my way of looking at it, it's where am I putting my trust? I've put a lot of trust in my own ability, and I've knocked the ball out of the park a number of times, but I'll also be honest and humble enough to tell you that I've failed miserably in so many ways. I've hurt people along the way, even with good intentions, because I was worried about an outcome, being so focused on the results rather than the process. And the fun thing about that attitude too is it's kind of amazing what I can learn and glean along the way. I can find better seed. I can find better ways to plant. I can find better ways to conserve water and to do things. And again, I'm not a farmer, but the concepts are true. Plus, being a Nebraskan, a native Nebraskan, I can talk about corn. If I plant a corn seed, will anyone tell me I'm gonna get a watermelon? If you do, there might be some debate. You always get the harvest of what you're planting. And if I'm planting the right seeds, then I truly believe that I always have the right results. Saw that, Aaron. Thank you. So where am I putting my trust? Am I putting my trust in the product? Am I telling you about, what was that one? It was on wrestling, Jarospeed. All good athletes, Jarospeed. You know, am I that Slick Willie guy? Well, I hope that I never sound like that. And to my friends that I'm talking to today, if ever I do, I ask that you would call me out, hopefully in a loving way, because I'd much rather tell than to sell. Because if the product is good, it will take care of itself. Where am I putting my trust? In my service? I can trust my ability to do my very best, but I don't think that alone does it. I put my trust in the relationships, and I put my trust in the one who creates the harvest. And it's amazing what can come out of that. So I think that we need to be deliberate and intentional. We need to plant where it counts. Planting, watering, harvesting. I'm not much of a farmer. Last year I did have some cucumbers. I like to plant some things alongside the home. And with the rain, I had a whole plethora of cucumbers. Now, with the shortest rain this year, my cucumbers and squash were pretty bad. My tomatoes came in late, but I tell you, they're the sweetest tomatoes I've ever had. When I'm mowing or outside, I love picking a cherry tomato, another one, and just eating. I can't remember a time in my life that I've ever been such a fan of tomatoes. And I was kind of thinking, you know, that's another problem that I have sometimes, is I think the harvest needs to be this. I even have had a harvest sometimes where I haven't planted. I had a volunteer tomato plant that came up from last year. And this tomato plant has more tomatoes on it than any of the other ones in the garden. And they're also the most luscious and the most tasty tomatoes that I've had. But you know what? I had to plant them before. They just happened to come back. It's kind of funny how things work when I don't make it about the numbers, when I don't make it about the results. And then it also takes a lot of the stress off of me trying to figure things out. Maybe if something doesn't grow, it's because it wasn't meant to be. Maybe there's another field. You're toiling and laboring on 2 acres, and maybe you can take your experience from being faithful and diligent on those 2 fields and be promoted to be doing 100 or 200 or even helping others. I don't know. The great thing is that I'm not the finisher of my faith, nor am I the author, but I know that he's faithful and just to complete the good work that he's done. So I just say that there's peace in the planting. The harvest may be your job, but not your responsibility. Regardless of the outcome, you do what you're supposed to do. It's not about the money, not about the numbers. So I just encourage you to do what you're supposed to do. Get out there and plant seed and be the best you that you can be. Because the truth of the matter is, in all of time, there's never been anyone like you, and there will never be anyone like you again. There's a reason for this season. COVID-19, I don't care. We're talking about 2008, the market, swine flu. How many things can we sign up for that are fear-based and are going to stop us from getting out there, suiting up, showing up, and planting those seeds? So I just encourage you all to plant seed, and I just am excited and anticipatory to hear about the harvest that's coming. That's all I got.
Wow. I didn't want to stop you. You were getting in preacher mode there. I love it.
Stop it.
It's gonna make me re-listen to this because you're a wordsmith, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to take notes, and yeah, I just gave that up. So I'll go back and watch it a couple times. But
Oh,
really,
you recorded this? I never signed a permission slip for that crap.
well,
Get his signature, Aaron.
well, it's after 10:30. If you guys have if there's a question or two, I don't know. I'm just there's a lot to take in there, and I love that the goal is the harvest, but our job is to take care of the seed. That was amazing. It just a great reminder that if we're focused, we need to focus on taking care of that seed, and we can't take our eyes off that to look at what the harvest could look like. But we just do our job and take care of that seed. That was good.
And personally, the thing that really affected me, Michael, was are you planting hope, especially in this time? Because boy, I have run into a lot of people that are hopeless right now. My youngest boy moved to Brooklyn, New York a year ago to take on a big music venue. That was very poor timing. And we thought it was going to be his shining moment, because he's been in music his whole life. And now, of course, they don't even know if they're going to reopen the place. But consequently, I'm a big believer in this too. Why do things happen the way they do? Because whenever I look back on my life and I see what I thought was the worst thing that ever happened to me, then I met this person and I met that person, and it led to something else. And he went back there because his wife had left him for another man, or another woman, excuse me. And then he brought her home just recently, this young lady that Kim and I just fell in love with immediately. So is that the only reason he went to New York City? I think it may be.
Well, there's a good story about Joseph, and if you don't know the story about Joseph, you need to go find it, because that's exactly what that is.
Yep.
I know I had my time, but the thing I love about the story of Joseph is because he was faithful where he was. He not only redeemed and was able to save his family, but his entire nation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Yep.
You guys all have a great Friday and finish strong.
Aaron, I'm going to give you a quick call. I got one thing.
Okay.
Yeah, when you get a chance later on, Aaron, call me. I want to see about that money you owe me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, when you do get a chance, please give me a call. Thank you.